Okay, here we are with another tutorial. I'm going to show you how to manipulate visibility with shadows, objects, and things like that. So here I have a bunch of, I have the scene set up with an FPS controller that is available for both Android, WebGL, or anything really. It's multi-compatible, which is something that I want to talk about in a later tutorial. But I am going to show you that here we have our character is an Enderman, and that cube that I just removed the visibility of was a collision object that was parented to the actual different pieces of this object. Well, actually it was just parented to the main body, but the main body is obviously rigged together with the bones, the skeleton, and yeah, so we have that as a collision object. And we have our our cylinder parented to our camera, which is our player controller. Now, obviously, we don't want our player to have a huge cylinder-shaped shadow, so I want to remove the shadow altogether. And to do that, I'm going to add a bunch of nodes. Actually, it's just 2 nodes, but yeah. So we are going to go down to the scenes property panel. We're going to add a new node trait. We're going to set it to hide, which is one that I previously made. You would obviously make a new one by clicking on this button. And I'm going to select it in our node editor as well. Now in the node editor, I'm going to go Shift A, and I'm going to go on Event, on Initialize, on Init. So on Initialize, which is on the first frame that's opened of the game, the first time you open the game, it's an onCreate event basically. We're going to do something, and that something is going to be toggle visibility. So we're going to set the object visibility. I'm going to set the object as a shadow, and the shadow is what's going to be invisible. By not checking this visibility box, if you check it, it means nothing's going to happen. If you uncheck it, it means it's going to become invisible. And I'm going to set the object to our player. So our player will not have the shadow become visible. And I'm actually going to duplicate this node by going Shift D, and I'm going to plug it in again to the on initialize. I'm going to remove the cylinder as the target, and I'm going to set the actual object cube 009, which is obviously the collision for that object, and I'm going to remove the shadow and set it as an object. Now by setting it as an object, it's removing both mesh and shadow visibility, so it will have no effect on the actual scene, which is pretty cool. But sometimes you might just want to remove the shadow, or you might just want to remove a specific mesh with keeping the shadow, or things like that. Now if we play this to see what we have, you'll notice that we now have no shadow. We have our player, but our player does not have a shadow, as you can see when we're looking down. Although this guy does have a shadow, and that shadow is not the collision box, it's the actual player, because you can distinguish the limbs and the different elements of his body. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, if you enjoyed this tutorial, then please subscribe for more. I was going to make this part of the tutorial series, this scene I mean, was going to be part of the FPS tutorial series, but I still haven't finished my mobile game tutorial series, and it's getting a bit, you know, I'm not too, what's the word, hyped up about it anymore. It's getting a bit long, and it wasn't as good as it turned out because I didn't plan anything. So I'm getting a bit lost with that, and so I think I'm going to skip over to the FPS tutorial series, but I did promise I'll make an entire tutorial series A to Z, so I am going to keep that promise. I'm just having a break from it right now because it's drowning me a little. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, then you can head over to the Game Jam, where I will hopefully be continuing this project to turn it into something decent with some actual animations, because this guy is giving me the creeps and he's really still. So hopefully you would want to join the Game Jam, join in the fun, and try upload something yourself, so you can see what you've been up to, and see what other people have been doing in the community. So thank you very much for watching yet again, and I'll see you in the next video.